All right, Kevin, thank you so much for being on this video interview with me.
Thank you for having me. This is
Yeah,
great.
I really appreciate it. And thank you for allowing Howard Sturdom to join our intimate interview.
Yeah, I'm happy that he's there. I mean, he can wheel his way over, he can take part.
He only has half of his O's and I's, actually, so I can learn them.
Ah, okay.
I don't know if you can see it, but he's like, I was like trying to learn my O's and I's, so only half of his
Yeah,
body like has the insertion. Um,
Howard.
Yeah. So basically, what community I'm trying to tap into is what we call the everyday athlete. This is a group of people that is not that 1% that actually gets paid to work out or paid to play a sport professionally. Most of our clients and our reach are just like a normal everyday athlete. They love working out, but they might sit at a desk all day or work at an assembly line idle. So, I just wanted to interview people like you that could really influence that community and make a difference for them. And so they also had someone else to listen to other than myself.
Yeah.
So they know that this is like actually a real thing. So, in your experience, maybe just do like a quick bio. I don't want to do too much of it because people are smart enough to look up your bio themselves, but maybe just do like a quick recap, like where you work and your job title there, and how many everyday athletes do you think you've actually worked with?
Yeah, I was actually just came off the floor with a bunch of everyday athletes. I just had an adult group of like 10 everyday athletes, people that we've had coming to the gym here for as long as I've worked here. And so I work at Mike Boyle Strength and Conditioning in Boston.
Okay.
And I have a clinic called Movement is Medicine right at the same location. And whereas I work as a massage therapist and a rehab clinician, kind of blend the two worlds together. And what's really cool at MBSC is we have professional, collegiate, high school athletes working out in the same space at the same time with, your everyday athlete, people who could be anywhere from, just out of college in their 20s, working a regular job, but then also just still playing intramural sports, exercising and then I have clients as old as like in their late 70s, early 80s who still do like swimming and tennis. Like everyone is performing. And so we always say, we talk about, our number one, we have 3 goals in MBSC whenever we write a program for anybody, right? And the number one is prevent training injuries. So, no one should get hurt in the gym. And, people do get hurt in the gym. Mistakes happen, things happen. And then we always kind of reflect as coaches and say, like, what did I do wrong? So number one, no training injuries. But number 2, prevent performance-related injuries or reduce performance-related injuries. And number 3 would be improve performance. And whenever you say performance, I think people always think like professional athlete or college athlete. But performance is relative to what that person does on a daily basis. And performance can mean, so they can just play, play catch with their kid or play basketball with their kid. And performance is also their job. Like people don't realize, for that everyday athlete, the stress of driving to work, sitting in a chair for 8 to 10 hours, driving home, and all the stress that comes with that is just as draining or not more draining than playing a season worth of sports. And they deal with this 365 days of the year. And they don't have seasons, So you think about it's all performance, whether it's their intramural sport, like they're playing in co-ed leagues as they get older, or if it's like them just having to deal with having to be stuck in a chair and a desk all day. It's always performance training. So I think, like you said, everybody's an athlete and their context just kind of changes as they age and as they change, arenas.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to steal some stuff you just said. That was awesome. There are no seasons.
Yeah.
Like, that is so cool. Like, an everyday athlete could be a mom with 3 kids. It could be an older gentleman who has 2 huge dogs. It could be
Yeah.
someone who works in IT and
Yeah.
drive to work, drive back, eat, TV, sleep, and do the whole cycle over again, is
Mhm.
actually exhausting as well, if not
Yeah.
more, like you said. So I just realized I'm going to really love these interviews because I'm going to learn stuff from other health professionals, which is really awesome.
This is always the best. These powwows are the best for sure.
Oh, I know. I just love it. Well, you know me. I'm like, we both geek out on this stuff. So yeah, basically the whole premise of today is just if everyone was listening and if they fit in that demographic, what is the number one thing that you would tell them to do with all of your experience, with where you work, all the clients you've done this with, you just taught a class like that. What would be something you wish you could tell every person that's kind of idle or sedentary all day?
So I was just talking with Scott, who works in the clinic with me, about this, and we were talking about how like a lot of people come in, like when you start as a clinician or a strength coach, like you think like, okay, there's going to be this complicated, amazing answer about like how to like get this person healthier, how to fix their pain. And he said to me, he's like, really? He goes, people come in like less and less active and more sedentary, and the answer becomes increasingly simple. Like you think, like you've read all these texts and everything, and I'm like, listen, you just need, like I had someone in here today who have been suffering from back and hip pain, and I screen them out, and at the end of the day, I'm like, man, you just got to lift consistently. You just got to move consistently. Like, you don't have to be, the biggest, strongest guy in the gym. You don't have to look that way. You don't have to perform that way, but like you just have to move consistently. If that means like that you just do a body weight circuit, 20 minutes, 15 minutes on your lunch break, because that's all you can give to me. Let's go with that. And let's just crush that every day. And as from posture goes, like when you talk about people who sit at a desk, like the best posture is a changing one. So we talked about getting rid of desks and chairs, right? And I said, like, they're like, well, what's better? Standing desk, seated desk, treadmill desk. I'm like, the best desk or the best anything is like you just moving to a different one throughout the day. Like if I stand straight all day in like a military posture, that's not good for me either. Like me going from here to here to here. So I always just tell people, like, if you told me one thing, I'm like, I just need you to move throughout the day. And it doesn't have to be with a lot of intensity. It doesn't have to be into this specific position, but I just want to see your joints move. And usually if their joints move a little bit, then it brings their heart rate up a little bit. And if they can, like, that means they go for a walk at lunch, then I'm happy. So very minimum effective doses just to be less of a sedentary society, right? Like just go do something. And then we can start to build intensity off of that.
Perfect. So I get this a lot, so I'd love to hear what you have to say. In the rebuttal, they go, I don't have time, or Miss, you tell me to, or Kevin, you tell me to do something. Like what? Like,
yep.
What if they're like, I don't want to sweat. I don't want to change my clothes. I'm definitely not doing a 10-minute circuit in my conference room. So what are some examples of do something, or the rebuttal of I don't have time?
Okay. For the I don't have time thing, I just sit down. I have a very frank goal setting conversation with people. And there's a book I read called 1 Minute Manager. It's really short management book. It's about managing people in your business, right? You can actually read the book in like less than an hour. It's so short. So I recommend people look in that. And they talk about goal setting. And I go back, and if you ask people what their goal is, so they're like, hey, I don't want hip pain, or I want to lose this amount of weight, or I'm trying to fix my blood numbers because I'm at risk of heart attack or something, whatever. Okay, let's lay out all the behaviors that we know can help us do that, right? And it's very easy for you and I, if you say, hey, this person wants to lose 10 pounds or they want their hip to move better, like I can very easily think of the things that they need to do. And I say, okay, these are the behaviors. Can we agree that these are the behaviors that you want to improve? And then when I tell them, if they give me the rebuttal, like, hey, I don't have time for that, I'll say, that's fine. Well, let's just change our goals then. Because if you're not, like, I think you have to have a frank conversation for someone when they say I don't have time.
Yeah.
Because exactly. Well, I think in the long run you get better adherence because everyone has the same amount of time. And I know people are like, oh, you got the same amount of time of the day as Beyonce does. Like, yeah, I hear that all the time, right? It's like cliche, but at the same point, like, I'll just be like, you can give me 10 minutes somewhere. Like, I know there's some time when you're strolling on Instagram or you're doing something that you could, like, I have a guy right now, great example. This guy, he's a COO of a big company in Boston. And like, he'll be a type of guy that'll text me like midday, like, hey man, I'm pulled into a meeting. I can't make it today. And I used to be like, oh, like shit, man, I get all bent out of shape. And I still like want him to be consistently in here, but I'm like, okay, this is still our goal. I need to find a way to meet him in the middle because you can't be a complete dictator either. So I'm like, okay, I sent him a bunch of circuits. So this kind of goes into the other part of this question. Then I'm like, in between, like he works from home. So this will be a different answer than if someone works in an office. I'll be like, all right, you don't need to sweat. I'm like, listen, if you're stuck at the desk all day, I just want you to get up. When you go to the bathroom, just do 5 bodyweight squats to parallel. You're not even going to sweat when you do that, but you moved your hip in a range. And then I was like, every time you have to go up to go to the bathroom, do like 1 push-up, because it just means you get up and down off the ground. You don't have to do 10 push-ups. So that's that. Like, even if that person's like, I don't want to sweat, I'm like, just do something. Maybe they're in the office and they care about, okay, I don't want my coworkers to see me. They're going to think I'm a weirdo. Like, you probably have some coworkers who are weirder than you, regardless. But anyways, I'm like, listen, when is the time when you're at home and you're standing around? Like, can you sacrifice every time? Like, they're like, oh, well, I watch The Bachelor. Every time this is cliche. I'm like, every time you like either watch Stay on the Floor, or every time this commercial, get up from the couch and just start. Like, if it's about like their hip pain, I'm like, just get your hip in the full range of motion. Or every time there's a commercial, go down and do your 90-90 stretch on the floor. You have to find places where you can meet them after you have an agreement about goal setting. And sometimes it's less than ideal. Like, I have this one guy who has hip pain. We have a lot of hockey guys here. This guy's like a former hockey player. And I'm like, man, you need to do your hip controlled articular rotations. I want him to do his cars. And I'm like, when is the time where you're standing still and you can work on it? He goes, when I brush my teeth. No lie. He does them every morning, because he can pull one hand up, do this, and he can do like 20 circles and 20 circles. And he's consistent, because we made an agreement, like, that's just what you're going to do, because he's in his bathroom, he's by himself, and he does it. And it's like, it really makes a big difference. Now, because we opened like the behavior door, now he's doing like a 10-minute stretch circuit every morning, because like he started to build a habit. So sometimes you just got to get one bucket like through, and then you can start to build momentum. So even though it's not always going to be ideal from our standpoint, like as coaches, like you and I would be like, oh no, you do like a 30-minute workout. But they're not going to commit that much. You have to find somewhere where you're going to say, okay, this is the commitment you're willing to give me. And then you expand, I think, off of that. So it's a long answer to a shorter question.
It was amazing. You're awesome. So, I mean, that's so perfect, because I think that's what a missing link is for that community is, like, what's brushing my teeth while I'm doing this gonna do? It's not enough. Oh, It's enough. It's way better than none, right?
Yeah.
So that's really beautiful, because like you said, it opens that door, and then that 2-minute toothbrush turned into 10 minutes down the road, because we built the habit. And that toothbrush is a really good trigger, which we know sets off that whole habitual loop.
Yeah.
So,
and like I always use that analogy. I'm like, remember, like my mom used to say, Kevin, you have to go brush your teeth before you go to bed. And I'd be like, I don't want to brush my teeth. And like, I don't like argue with myself now at 29 about brushing my teeth. I just do it because I've always done it. Right. And you just build habits that way. And like, you just have to start to look at, what's the door that you can open to start to build a habit and make them do it consistently. And like, that's the same thing. Like when we talk about nutrition, like if I try to overhaul someone's diet strategy and throw out everything and just shove kale and stuff down their throat, they're going to be like, God, not. But if I can be like, hey, why don't we just pull one thing out and do one thing consistently for a week, and then slowly you start to change things over. So I think it's a pretty broad thing for any behavioral change, but definitely.
Yeah, that was so awesome. So it's not personal, it's still on the same topic, but on the question of, things I have a difficult time with sometimes is the person who, they were given a laptop at 5 years old. They don't even know they own joints. They're like, this thing's supposed to move. I mean, how do you communicate the importance of doing a simple joint mobility drill? How do you get through to someone like that?
Yeah. And it's funny. You almost have to do like it's like educate. It's like class. It's like, it's more so than it is even like training and therapy sometimes, like, because sometimes you might even give them that drill, but they have no mindfulness when they do it. Right. Like you're like, hey, I want you to go slow and intentional circle. And then they're just like a bobblehead, like their neck's flying over. Right.
Yeah.
Like there's no like thought of like, okay, what's going on here? So again, like starting simple, and something I think Mike Boyle is very brilliant at here is he makes things digestible for the everyday person. So like he's always, whenever we bring up, like I'll bring an idea to him or Marco or Brendan or someone, and he'll be like, no, dumb it down. And because like you have to make it, again, something that they can conceptualize and do. Sometimes that means, again, cutting it down from what you think is a good starting point, because we're usually somewhere up here, and they might be somewhere down here because it's just not their ball game. So we do a lot of just like basic education. Scotty does a movement kind of class that some people do. And sometimes he'll just do like, hey man, you're going to go on this movement program along with what we're doing. And he'll just feed in little things. Okay, we're just going to learn about moving our neck, and we're going to learn about moving our shoulder, and not really teaching them anatomy, but teaching them how to feel, and what positions they should be in. Sometimes it takes longer. Like you said, some people who have never done anything physical, like they've just been at a computer forever, and they don't have a sporting background and things like that. And like from training people, like people don't know how to create tension, right? Like that's the big thing we always talk about here is like if you played a sport ever in your life, or you've lifted weights for a while, like you don't think about like, okay, this is how I brace and this is how I turn on and turn off. We have some people come in here and they're like the wacky, wavy, inflatable tube man, right? Like they're just, they're all over. So just basic education about like, okay, how do your shoulders brace? How do your hips brace? How do you block down the front side so you can have movement everywhere else? And it's starting with things really as basic as breathing and understanding, locking in the ball and socket joints. So really basic, just movement education. And again, the more I do it, the more I learn. I have to be simpler and I have to go slower, because I think we always expect them to be here and they're really probably somewhere over here,
Right. I feel like the older and more experienced we get, the slower, simpler, and less we do.
Yeah, exactly.
Bizarre thing. I'm like, the more courses I take, the more I realize I know nothing.
Yeah. And the more I learn, I have like a lot of like I should have known to be simpler. Like it's I think Mike has a quote. He says like, I think like I wish I was young enough to know everything still. Cause like as you get older, you tend to realize, like you said, like, oh, that you don't know everything yet and that you need to slow down. So.
Yeah, that's so funny. When I got into coaching in 2010, and I actually believed that I could help everyone in the world. Like, bring it on. I know everything. And the older I get and the more clients, I'm like, it could be your guts. It could be an argument you had. It could be your actual tissue. It could be your brain. It could be your diaphragm. I don't freaking know why your knee hurts. Like, but when I only knew like 5 ways to fix a knee, I was like, oh, well, it's definitely one of these things. So
it's got to be this.
It's got to be one of these. And now it's like, let's try some stuff.
Yeah. Most humbling job in the world,
Right. Oh man, totally. Okay. So your coaching is, let's kind of recap. It's move often.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what did you say?
I said at minimum, just move your joints every day. And like that could mean you just do some squats.
I like the squats. The squats in the bathroom.
Yeah, whatever. Just like move your joints every day. And like that for me, like if you're going to say what's the baseline when someone, especially when comes in for therapy, like there might not be someone who expects to have training. Little they know they're going to get some training eventually. That's always the goal. But like that maybe training for them on week 1 is like, hey, you did 10 squats. Like, okay, that's more than you've ever. That's 100% more. That's 1,000% more than you've ever done. Right. So like
that's a huge triumph.
Yeah, and like you got to think, and I think you have to celebrate those things. So with them, instead of being like, "Hey, I just like," you might say like, "I do 10 squats," and you're like, "That's amazing, you did 10 squats." Rather than be like, "Okay, even I know you only did 10." Like you have to celebrate the wins, because even though they might not want to do it, they get a little dopamine hit and they feel like, "Oh, okay, I did this. Is pretty good. I feel pretty good about this." So you want to celebrate those things, so then they build a pattern from there.
Yes, I love it. I think the toothbrush and going to the bathroom are really good triggers to give to this community. So I'm going to end with like a weird random question, because I want these to be super interesting. So it's not all about like health and wellness. So I have this list. I'm just going to like literally pick a random one.
Love it.
Okay. So What sound or noise do you love?
Do I love? That's a really good question. You know what? So we have, I could actually, you could hear it. We have I'll show you right now. We have this thing called the Calm app in our office, right?
Yeah.
And it's for people to meditate with, and like they put on the Normatec, they put on their headphones, and you can get all these different sounds. So it's just not quiet in here. Like, so right now we have it set on nature, like with some little bit of rain and some animals. Let's see. Is the Calm app on out here? Oh, she asked me on this interview, she said, what's my favorite sound? I'm going to tell her. I'm going to show her though.
We're going to get the real life.
Oh, did you guys not plug the iPad in? We have to replug it. Marco took his plug.
Oh, that's all right.
No, it's fine. But no, like I like animal or like nature sounds would be my favorite. So like,
You love that one. Okay. It's like a rainforest.
yeah, I think
Right?
it's like a rainforest sound. Like, and that's why we said it in here. So anything like nature related, I would like.
Oh, I love it. Way to go. Fun facts about Kev.
Exactly.
Coach Kev. Okay, awesome. So if I have never heard of you, how do I find you? Like, if I have a question specifically for you, what do I do?
So our Instagram's probably the best place to kind of get content from us.
Cool.
Movement is Medicine on Instagram. Easy to find. Our office, we're located in Boston, just North Boston and Woburn. But reach out to us on Twitter. It's Coach Kevin Carr, or Movement is Med on Twitter. Those are easy. Or you can find me on Facebook, Kevin Carr. Also, probably the best ways to reach out to me. So, if you're ever in Boston, I tell people we take visitors here, and people say, "Oh yeah, I'll come visit," and maybe like 1 out of 10 people come visit. We have visitors here like all the time. So, if people are ever here, just come. People are here every day at the gym. So, stop on in.
Awesome. That is incredible. Thank you so much for your time and contributing to this special demographic that I'm so passionate about. It really makes a difference, and the everyday athlete, I hope, really benefits from hearing your free coaching today that you so generously donated that people pay
anytime.
for.
Anytime.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Missy.
See you next time.